4 o'clock, 3:45, and you think, oh, I don't know. Work today. You got to go back to the paper mill, and paper mill does not smell good. You wake up, you think, work today. I don't know. I got to go be a security guard, and I got to stand watch. Is it worth it? Do I want to do that? Do I want to wake up? Do I want to go? Do I want to? And then what happens is it hits you. Money for nothing, dire straits. The Drake Toll Show, Westwood One Sports. And you remember, I do want this. I was born for this. I'm ready to do this. I'm excited to do this. Life goes on. Time marches on. And we all exist for a purpose. Hi. I'm Drake Toll from the Drake Toll Show with Westwood One Sports, the Westwood One Sports app, opening up the world of sports to you. Yeah. And do I have news for my friend here, Daniel, in Butte, Montana, who is saying, it is like 4:02 in the morning, driving to my job, driving to work. What am I supposed to do? It's 5:02 in the morning in Dallas, Texas. You're from Anna. You're listening to The Fan today. And John, I get it. I understand it's early. But you and I get to come together to this sacred place and talk about one thing, and that is sports. We get to let it go for a second. Yeah, work begins in an hour. But for now, it's me, it's you, it's sports, and it's awesome. 310-840-4910. And whether you're John or Daniel, whether you're Alan in Rochester, New York right now, it does not matter who you are, what you want, how you've planned your day, or your expectation for your morning. What I'm about to say is coming, whether you like it or not. John Harbaugh, working toward a deal to finalize a deal with the New York Football Giants. Welcome to the show. Drake Toll with you. Locked on Big 12, the Savannah Bananas organization. Amazon Fire TV's college football kickoff. Final episode today. But none of that matters. All of that's in the void. All of that's those are just words, fancy words to distract you from the real headline. CBS Sports. Jordan Dajani, the Giants, are working to finalize a deal to hire John Harbaugh as their next head coach. On today's show, we have a loaded buffet, free for you on Westwood One and the Westwood One app. A loaded buffet of wild card games turned divisional games this weekend. Wild card winners turned divisional contests this weekend. The Hall of Famer, TCU legend, Sugar Bowl winner over Wisconsin, Gary Patterson, will join our show. We'll have biggest losers, little losers, idiot of the day, and so much more. Buckle up. We'll start here. New York Giants working to finalize an agreement with former Baltimore Ravens coach John Harbaugh to be their next head coach. ESPN initially reported. Deal is not done just yet. As you and I wake up, as we get up to start our day, it's not done yet. But who would have thought? The guy who won a Super Bowl, who went to Baltimore and won a Super Bowl, would be the coach of the Giants. Do you understand that when John Harbaugh was hired in Baltimore, he wasn't a very sexy pick? Listen to his resume. Harbaugh, the Ann Arbor, Michigan kid, goes to Miami of Ohio, plays defensive back. And as soon as he's done with college, does not go, like his brother Jim, who has more rushing yards in his career in the NFL than Bo Jackson, he does not go to the National Football League. John does not have that liberty. He goes to Western Michigan. From Miami of Ohio to Western Michigan as the running backs coach and outside linebackers coach. That's a wild title. Does both of those. 1984 to 1986. Goes to Pittsburgh, tight ends coach. Oh, the Steelers, right? Nope. No. Pittsburgh as in the college. Morehead State, special teams coordinator. Off to Cincinnati he goes. Special teams coordinator for 8 seasons. To Indiana for a year. Then the Philadelphia Eagles bring him in under that same title. Special teams coordinator from 1998 to 2006 until he becomes the defensive backs coach. And maybe you were sitting there thinking 4 days ago, oh, I'm an Eagles fan. I'm a John Harbaugh fan. I can only hope Nick Sirianni is fired and the Philadelphia kid returns. Guy who spent nearly a decade in Philly as the defensive backs coach and the special teams coordinator. That guy, his lack of resume, his lack of splash, was hired as the head coach by Bisciotti and company of the Baltimore Ravens in 2008. And I will tell you exactly what that is. It is a classic case of Milton Hershey. Somebody just won. And I don't know if it's John Harbaugh, but at the very least, it's the Hershey Corporation. What? Like the chocolate? Yes. I'm Drake Toll. Westwood One Sports, the Westwood One Sports app. And I want us all to take a moment, take a chance to settle in before I cook. Because that's what's on the way. Milton Hershey, you have to understand, he had miserable years. John Harbaugh, I just gave you the synopsis. His career, Morehead State, Western Michigan, Cincinnati, he had miserable years. People called Milton Hershey a failure. When I was in college, I was a history minor. And one of the biggest things we learned about was those in history who had failed only to succeed. Then this last summer, I was gifted the opportunity in July, around 4th of July, to go to Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, which I thought was funny. I believe USA Today named the #1 downtown in the United States, Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. A child is born. And we had the opportunity to travel a good bit away and go to the Hershey factory roller coaster thing. Milton Hershey, before he became, Hershey, borrowed $150 from his aunt starting his first shop. I remembered that. Found an article from the time period that states that he would work 15 hours a day delivering candy by hand. And despite his hustle, couldn't manage his overhead, as in Philadelphia he tried to start his own little shop and lost all of it, filing for total bankruptcy in 1882 after roughly 8 years of operation. Milton Hershey said, okay, I'll go to Denver. Didn't work. Chicago, didn't work. New Orleans, didn't work. Milton Hershey, similar to John Harbaugh, said, I'll go to Western Michigan, Morehead State, Cincinnati, Indiana. Didn't work out like that. It flopped. Then there was, and don't draw any comparison to this, the New York disaster. Hershey said, I'm going to try one last time and see if this works. I'm going to try, please, somebody, something. This is the equivalent of John Harbaugh waiting a decade in Philadelphia. He goes to New York, and it's a disaster. He was so broke at the time that per the annals of history, he had to deliver his candy from a push cart, selling his possessions to stay afloat. And finally said, I'm done. I'm going back to Pennsylvania. Prodigal son. He got into a debt trap. He's 30 years old, 2 bankruptcies, and a credit rating so bad, no bank in the world would touch him, much less his hometown. He was canceled. Cancel culture hit him in the 1800s, in the 19th century business world. But then, the melt-in-your-mouth pivot. He used his secrets he'd learned over the course of his career. He'd been in multiple cities just trying his best, learning how to do chocolate, and he became what they called the melt in your mouth man. Pause. The melt in your mouth man in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, started getting massive orders when the locals would taste this Hershey chocolate. And by 1900, his caramel company he'd started, he sold it for $1 million. Now, if you were a friend of Hershey at the time, you'd say $1 million to sell your company. That's stupid. Just grow this thing. $1 million then was $38 million today. And people sell their businesses for far more than $38 million when they are true hits and actually take off. This was the Baltimore Ravens era of Milton Hershey, of the Candyman. His caramel era was the Baltimore Ravens era for John Harbaugh, where ultimately the end of the day comes and you say, hey, I had great success with this. I'm going to cash out because I'm just not sure if I can optimize what I'm doing at this point. John Harbaugh got to the end of optimization in Baltimore. And mind you, John Harbaugh built Baltimore as one of the early coaches of that franchise. If you're new to this whole thing, the Baltimore Ravens are not that old. They themselves just recently came on the scene. And John Harbaugh was the third head coach of a franchise established in 1996. Art Modell. That controversy. Hello, Baltimore Ravens. But what happened to Milton Hershey is he sells his caramel business for $1 million cash. And when he does so, in the early 1900s, he says, I'm going to go into the milk chocolate business. What you don't understand is back then, the milk chocolate business was a luxury. If you were not the haves. Last night, I, Drake Toll, the Drake Toll Show, Westwood One Sports, the Westwood One Sports app, walked into a restaurant in Dallas, Texas. Within 3 minutes of me being there, in comes Mark Cuban with Damon, the other guy from Shark Tank. They walked in, sat at the table right behind me. Those are the haves. Early 1900s, those are the guys. Mark Cuban, who I quasi had dinner with. Those are the guys eating milk chocolate. A luxury. And after trial and error, Farmhouse Kitchen, Hershey created his own process of milk chocolate that instead of making milk chocolate $1 a bar, it's now 5 cents per bar. And he goes from being Milton Hershey, the guy who failed, the guy who built himself up, failed, built himself up, failed over and over, flopped in Denver, flopped in Chicago, flopped in New Orleans, tried to work his way through, finally had success, finally built a caramel empire, caramel if you want to. That same guy, that John Harbaugh, who built a caramel empire, who sold the caramel empire, got a restart, a revitalization with Hershey, his own last name. That is what it took. It took years of both failure and then ultimate success, and success that led to stagnation, that brought Hershey to the pinnacle of his career. And the question becomes, for the ultimate philanthropist, John Hershey, for the model man who built his model town, his little Hershey land that I've been to in Pennsylvania, the man who has left his mark on the entire state, the man who survived with his company through the Great Depression, is that what we are looking at when we say John Harbaugh, the head coach of the New York Football Giants? Has he fought through? Has John Harbaugh fought through his years in Denver, in New Orleans? Has he fought through a disaster in New York? All of those marks of John Hershey to become the true chocolate man? That's the parallel I thought of. That's the comparison I thought of. I remembered that Milton Hershey fought to build his career, had great success, but that success was not the pinnacle. And you wonder if John Harbaugh taking over the Giants, Jackson Dart, Cam Scatterbo, once Cam Scatterbo's leg is reattached, if this is the move that once again revitalizes his career, and we all look back and say, yeah, remember Tom Coughlin? Remember Tom Coughlin, the guy that won a lot of games? Oh, wait a second, a Super Bowl? So what? As the head coach of the Giants? Would win? I mean, there are coaches like Harbaugh who in the last, 10 years have not won games in the postseason. And then coaches like Coughlin who were like, hey, I'm not going to win most of the time, but when I win, it will be the Super Bowl. and I'm not sure if that's the career arc of John Harbaugh going to the Giants. I'm not sure if he'll go to the postseason once every 4 years-ish, but when he does, win the Super Bowl. But it's a guy who went 180 and 113 during 18 seasons as the head coach of the Baltimore Ravens. He was the Baltimore Ravens, the greatest coach in a young franchise's history. NFL Coach of the Year in 2019. We're not that far removed from 2019. Problem is, though, he won 10 playoff games. His first 7 seasons with the Ravens. Then just 3 playoff games. His last 11 years. This is your sellout. You sell, you go, you restart. You pull the Milton Hershey. You invent the chocolate, and your career is revived. I hope for Kevin listening right now, getting off of work, going home, you finally get to sleep in Mission Viejo, California. Thank goodness your shift is over. I hope you agree with me. John Harbaugh, good guy, nice guy. Didn't have the name of Jim Harbaugh. Didn't have the NFL experience. Did not have those luxuries. I hope we're all in the same camp of rooting for this guy. I could only hope his career ends up like Milton Hershey's and he wins. But can he win with the Giants? With the Giants? Joe Shane, who's still the GM? I have the answer to that. And it's coming up, as well as an update on every coaching carousel position in the NFL right now, from OCs to head coaches. This is the Westwood One Sports app, Westwood One Sports, and this is the Drake Toll Show.
She just caught the Jamestown ferry. It's not a hot day, January, like she said it'd be if she ever left me. A case of gone was all she carried as she got on the Jamestown ferry. And she said that gone without the ever be. I didn't think that she'd leave me, after saying how much you need me. But the fact still remains, I'm sitting there all alone, missing the loving of my baby. Lord, it's about to drive me crazy. She was the sweetest piece of ever I've ever known. She just caught the Jamestown ferry. It's not a hot day, January, like she said it'd be if she ever left me. A case of gone was all she carried as she got on the Jamestown ferry. And she said that gone without the ever be. As I walk through that valley of honky-tonks and bars, I remember how she'd hold me, comfort me with thought. She didn't cuss with every breath. She had a soothing southern drawl, made me feel like a man through it all. She just caught the Jamestown ferry. It's not a hot day, January, like she said it'd be if she ever left me.
Come on. If those horns don't get you ready to go, if you don't feel that, I don't have an answer for you. A dubstep remix to William Tell Overture. This is the Drake Toll Show. Westwood One Sports. The Westwood One Sports app. Drake Toll with you from the Savannah Bananas organization, Locked On Big 12. Amazon Fire TV's college football kickoff. Miami will take on Indiana in the national championship game Monday. Last night, I was up until 1 a.m. That's 1 in the morning Central Time. Currently, it's 6:25 on the East Coast. On the West Coast, 3:25. You're probably still asleep. Good morning to you if you're not. Either going to work, getting up to go to work, or you're leaving your late night shift. But no matter what, you decided to be here. And you say, Drake, why would you ever be up that late? That's what my mother or father would say. Why would you ever be up that late? I can tell you. The newest Hall of Famer, TCU legend, Rose Bowl champion, Gary Patterson, was inducted yesterday. I got to spray him with champagne at like 4 o'clock local time. Dump almonds on him. And you're wondering, why would you ever dump almonds on him? Great question. I can explain, surely. He'll join the show later. The Hall of Famer had his celebration last night with a myriad of TCU legends that helped put him in the Hall of Fame. And when you get that invite, hey, come hang out, have a couple glasses of wine, see the Hall of Famer, tell some stories, tell some jokes, you do it. Yesterday, we're on set. Fire TV, college football kickoff. By the way, let's do this. Let's get this out of the way. Jared, I get it. You're in Sacramento right now. And you're like, well, I've never had dinner with a Hall of Famer. No, I get it, dude. I do. You pinch yourself in those moments. You know, when you have the opportunity to meet these people, be around these people, to interact and know, you know, sports legends that you grew up with or watched on TV, you pinch yourself. It's how it feels when you're around some of the greats. When you're around people who you know carry status in football, in basketball, in the sports realm. It's not you're probably callous to it, right? The day comes where you think, I know everybody and I feel so pompous. No. You sit and you feel honored to be a part of anything like that. And it's my goal, Jared, to come on the Drake Toll Show, the Westwood One sports app, and convey to you what that feels like as the average sports fan who gets to be a part of something bigger, a part of something different, a part of something that you dream of when you're young or you dream of as someone who loves sports. And yesterday, we're sitting in the studio with Coach Patterson, and we decided that for the brand new Hall of Famer, and also I don't think you knew that Coach Patterson or Coach Peterson, Washington Husky legend, playoff appearance, that those guys were inducted with Mark Ingram into the College Football Hall of Fame because the College Football Hall of Fame just doesn't market any of what they do. Weird. If you didn't know that, it's fine. I'm here to convey that to you. We're on set with him yesterday. We said, hey, we're going to have a bottle of champagne. The last segment of our show together on Amazon Fire TV, we're going to pop the bottle of champagne and bring balloons out. It was my role, Drake Toll, host of the Drake Toll Show, to create a distraction in the last segment, and then here comes the production staff on the set with the balloons. I grab the champagne from under my legs, pop it, we move on. 2 minutes before we go live, underneath the desk, underneath my feet, I hear donk. The champagne popped. No one touched it. No one did anything. The champagne popped. And everyone in the room, aside from Coach Gary Patterson, knew that champagne was for him to celebrate. And so when it popped, donk, we all looked at each other like, oh, there we go. We ruined it. We ruined the surprise. And we each secretly kind of, stealthily look at Coach P, and he doesn't look up at it. He doesn't notice a bottle of champagne has just popped in front of his own eyes. Oof, safe for now, right? So I, being myself, walk out of the room, go to the production staff. Hey, we need a backup bottle of champagne. Ours popped. It's going to ruin the joke. It's going to ruin the bit, ruin the celebration. And in a moment of pride, arrogance maybe, I walk back into the studio where Coach P is sitting, and I say, Coach, the same man who a bottle of champagne just popped before him underneath his legs, and he didn't look up, didn't say a word. I said, taunting him almost, Coach, sometimes things happen in front of my eyes, and I don't even realize it. I'm such an oblivious person. I never have any idea. And he said, that's funny, Slick. Yeah, I heard a pop earlier. Didn't even know what that was. Didn't even ask. He said that to me. I said, oh, that pop was my ankle. And he looks at me and he goes, oh, you should get that checked out. I was like, can you imagine someone's ankle popping in the same way that a bottle of champagne pops? That sound would be the same thing? That's what I had convinced him of. We get into the show. Production had a backup bottle of champagne. And we're about to film the final segment, the send-off, where we pop the bottle, spray it on Coach, have our big celebration. And in the distance, the production staff's counting us down. You're going 10, 9. And then when he gets to 0, I'm going. Hey, welcome back to the show. Coach Gary Patterson, our new Hall of Famer here. And bam, celebration. Surprise celebration. And as he gets to 10, 9, when he's right there counting down, I hear in the distance, donk, the second bottle. Sir, Mr. President, a second bottle of champagne has popped. Not good at all. We have ruined the surprise. Part 2. Coach, being coach, doesn't hear that bottle of champagne pop. He hears donk. He goes, oh, what was that? Somebody on staff said, I think a chair fell. and he's oblivious to the world. I said, Coach, I'm going to go check out the chair that fell. I meet with the production staff. Let them know, hey, our backup bottle of champagne obviously just popped. I heard that. What do we do? So we took 2 bottles of already opened champagne and just dumped those on him instead. He didn't notice either of them. By the way, I'm seeing, I haven't asked him. I probably won't. We'll see if I ask him today on the Drake Toll Show. But I'm seeing on Reddit that Coach Gary Patterson, the TCU legend, is at least in, the quote was serious conversations with the USC Trojans to be their next defensive coordinator. That guy, the Rose Bowl winner, will join the Drake Toll Show. You can join as well. 310-840-4910. 310-840-4910. Congratulations to Coach, who will be on the show in our second hour today, our third hour, I should say, in our third hour today. In the meantime, before that, the coaching vacancies this year in the National Football League are as big, as sexy, as contending as possible. And I know what you're saying to yourself right now. You're driving 30A. Congratulations, by the way. I'm sitting in Dallas with the skyline behind me. I'd rather be in 30A. Not that Dallas is a bad place, but I mean, it's 30A. You're driving in 30A right now, and you're thinking, does he mean contentious? No. Like it's the most jobs where a coach could contend. I don't know if there's a way to phrase that correctly. There are positions where if you're contending for those positions, you're going to contend for the Super Bowl. For the first time since 2007, the Steelers are conducting a search. Art Rooney is conducting a search to maintain that Steelers way. Brian Flores, Chris Shula, Jesse Minter, Anthony Weaver, the Dolphins defensive coordinator. Is he the answer? Shula, is he the answer? Flores, is he the answer? The Vikings defensive coordinator? Here's the problem I have with the Steelers opening. When I read the list of names that they have interviewed so far or have reached out to, the alleged list of names, I don't know if I get it. They're all defensive guys. Didn't I tell you yesterday on the Drake Toll Show? Last week on the Drake Toll Show, the protocol for hiring a coach today is find the young offensive mind. Sean McVay, anyone? And if you don't, if a McDonald is your kind of guy, that kind of diamond in the rough is a diamond in the rough. The last 15 head coaches to win a Super Bowl, 14 of them were offensive-minded. The only exception was Bill Belichick, the greatest NFL coach of all time. He's not the greatest NFL coach. I listened to the radio today. I heard this guy say Bill Belichick's the greatest NFL coach of all time. I disagree with that. You can. That's fine. But I'm right. It sounds weird rolling off the tongue. It sounds odd. The guy who sucks at coaching college football, the guy who fizzled out in New England without Tom Brady. Yeah, sure. Make the case of, well, he was terrible without Tom Brady. He only was good because Tom Brady. Yeah, and if my aunt had male parts, she'd be my uncle. You can play that.
You know how it is. If my aunt had male parts, she'd be my uncle.
Thank you. You play that game all day of, well, Bill Belichick was only good for this one. You play hypotheticals all you want. But he's the only head coach in these last 15 who is defensive-minded. The rest of them are offensive-minded. So why is Jesse Minter, the Chargers defensive coordinator, in these conversations? I wonder. Baltimore Ravens, Clint Kubiak, Seahawks offensive coordinator. Joe Brady, Bills offensive coordinator, making a change after 18 seasons with John Harbaugh. They want to maximize Lamar Jackson. They want to bring, Bisciotti said it. He was quoted on the show yesterday as saying, we want Lamar on my private jet helping us figure this out. We want our quarterback. If we're going to win the Super Bowl, we want our quarterback helping us figure this out. Will they? I'm Drake Toll, Westwood One Sports, the Westwood One Sports app, 310-840-4910, 310-840-4910. These vacancies, the Las Vegas Raiders, with Pete Carroll gone, Matt Nagy, is he the young upstart offensive coordinator you want? The young offensive analyst that you want? That offensive mind that you want? No. Davis Webb could be the 30-year-old Broncos quarterback coach. Clint Kubiak could be. Vance Joseph will not be. But Davis Webb, the wild card, is he enough to be the next Lane Kiffin? That didn't work out for the Raiders, but is he enough to be a Lane Kiffin type of an attention grabber, an offensive mind who makes it go? The New York Giants, Brian Daboll fired. John Harbaugh seems to be the guy. They're working toward a deal right now as we speak, 5:37, 17 seconds Central Time. Kevin Stefanski fired. Todd Monken has been interviewed, the deposed Ravens offensive coordinator for this job with the Browns. Jim Schwartz, Tommy Rees, Dan Pitcher. You know those names, right? Maybe not, but it's the Browns. They're even asking Shedeur Sanders, hey, high-profile rook, what should we do here? The Miami Dolphins, Chris Shula, Kevin Stefanski, Clint Kubiak. Those names go on. This entire coaching carousel is as loaded as you could ask for with the openings across the country. Jonathan Gannon, where do you go from there? Raheem Morris out. Where do you go from there? There are plenty of opportunities for a young upstart coach to revamp his career as a head coach in the National Football League. Opportunities for the old guys, Mike Tomlin, John Harbaugh, to revitalize their career in the National Football League. And the beauty of that is that we here at Westwood One Sports app, will be all over it. On the other side of this, we got some real big losers on our biggest losers of the day. This segment, All NFL Today, is sponsored by Progressive Commercial Insurance, which protects small businesses with affordable coverage options. Quote today, progressivecommercial.com. Progressivecommercial.com. Thank you, Progressive, for telling me that Marcus Freeman could leave Notre Dame to be the next head coach of the Steelers? Maybe. Here come those biggest losers. And Marcus Freeman could find himself there. Westwood One Sports, the Westwood One Sports app. This is the Drake Toll Show.
stomach.
Could be worse.
How could this be worse? This is worse.
Come on. You and me together talking about sports. What more could you want? Because typically what you would do is you would turn your TV on, you would turn your radio on. Sirius XM channel 375 is where Westwood One Sports is. You would turn those on and you would not learn anything. People would be yelling at each other. There would be bickering. There would be former NFL players. There are analysts that didn't play in the NFL. There are so many people out there that want to yell at you about sports, but they don't want to tell you anything. They don't want to tell you how you should approach every conversation as the genius. They want to make you feel something, and I certainly want to make you feel something. I want you to be entertained. But the most important piece of the Drake Toll Show is that you walk away from every segment and you think, I didn't know that. Or, that's what I can bring to the office New Year's party. Or probably, it's January 15th. We're fairly removed from New Year's parties. But the opportunity for you to be a sports genius, to hear something today and think, that is what I'm going to tell my friends, and they're going to say, where did you learn that? And here's the deal. I'm not going to force you to tell them that you learn Milton Hershey and John Harbaugh are the same human being on the Drake Toll Show. I'm not going to force you to tell these people that you learned Tupperware filed Chapter 11 bankruptcy in 2024 because they were too good for too long, too consistent, but never elite and could not adapt to the times, like Mike Tomlin. You don't have to tell them you learned that here. You don't have to tell them these nuggets of information, these facts, these anecdotes that make you a ball knower, the ultimate ball knower. They'll say, Brian, from College Station, where'd you learn that? And you say, I don't know, man. I'm just like that. I just got it. And that is the beauty of this. It's our secret. And it's so well kept that we can talk about sports. You and I can talk about sports. That you can be involved in the conversation about sports. And then walk in the office, be the genius, and no one has any idea that it wasn't an original thought. I mean, it wasn't your original thought, right? It doesn't have to be, though. It can be our secret. That even though it wasn't your original thought, you know it. And you carry that knowledge. 310-840-4910. You can call the show. Be involved yourself. 310-840-4910. It's early in the morning, but you can still pick up the phone and be on the show. Westwood One Sports, the Westwood One Sports app, 310-840-4910. Drake Toll with you from the Drake Toll Show. Savannah Bananas organization, Locked On Big 12, Amazon Fire TV's college football kickoff, and now the Drake Toll Show. It's time for our biggest losers of the day. I'm going to go with Art Rooney, number one. Steelers president. Art Rooney the second, not a junior, second, says of Mike Tomlin stepping down, I wasn't shocked, but I wasn't expecting that conversation either. What? What do you mean you were expecting that conversation? What do you mean you didn't think this was coming? This is a decade in the making. We've all been sitting here waiting. All right, is today the day? Tomorrow the day? When is the day coming that Mike Tomlin officially hangs it up and is no longer the head coach of the Steelers and goes somewhere else? When's the day that Art Rooney and company fire Mike Tomlin? I wasn't shocked. I wasn't expecting the conversation. What were you expecting, Art Rooney? The quote continues, I was certainly willing to take another run at next year with Mike. That's what I was expecting to talk about yesterday. I told you he's Tupperware. Mike Tomlin is Tupperware. Nothing sexy about it, but it's so good for so long, you're kind of just with it. What else are you going to do? What else are you going to do? So, Rooney, you can be a biggest loser today for being completely unaware of the pulse of your coaching staff, the pulse of your head coach, what he wanted to do, saying you didn't think that was going to happen. I think the country, Drake Toll, without being in the organization, without being in the locker room, pretty much knew something like that was going to happen. Even if the Steelers won the division and made the playoffs, it felt like we were moving toward a decision. We were moving toward some sort of conversation. Rooney, though, didn't know that or expect that. Biggest loser. Those of you who have submitted your 2026 mock drafts. Womp womp. Tough for you. Rewrite them. Yesterday on ESPN, Oregon Ducks quarterback Dante Moore decided officially he'll return for 2026. And I think an even bigger loser than Dante Moore leaving the draft behind to come back to Oregon. The bigger loser than that is the New York Jets. And surely they'll be on our obituaries or our idiots of the day. But Dante Moore deciding that he's not going to play in the NFL next season means the New York Jets, who probably would have taken him second overall, are just out. It's great, man. The Jets lose again. They love to lose. They lose out in the Dante Moore sweepstakes. If he would have been, I couldn't tell you he would be an elite NFL quarterback, but so far, the draft experts wanted him to go top 5 and likely to New York. Not anymore. Rewrite it. You get to become a biggest loser today if you already had Dante Moore circled in as your number 2 overall pick. And I guess it's just this never-ending cycle of Aaron Glenn and the Jets being a part of the biggest losers on the Drake Toll Show. You know, we have segments, the biggest loser, idiot of the day, obituaries. We just probably throw the Jets into all of them. They're all fairly dour. In some capacity, and even in no capacity, you can just say, you know what, today, the Jets. And it probably works. Our final biggest loser, the College Football Hall of Fame marketing team. Did you know? Daryl, listening in Aurora, Illinois. Ryan, listening in Chicago. Did you know the College Football Hall of Fame was announced yesterday? Mark Ingram, Gary Patterson, who will join the show later today. Did you know that happened? Probably not. Why? Because at 2 o'clock Eastern time, ESPN aired their college football live show. And going into their second commercial break, the host, I don't remember Kevin Nagandi, maybe? It's like, hey, by the way, before we go to break, here are the Hall of Famers. They showed a graphic, didn't even read all the names, just, 15 names on a graphic. I was like, yeah, it's cool. Mark Ingram's there, and Coach Peterson's there. Washington went to the playoff. All right, see you later. What? Why did no one tell me that the College Football Hall of Fame would be announced yesterday? I would not have known this if not for a close friend, now confidant, Gary Patterson, being announced as a guy who's inducted. Do better. It's a thing as big as the Hall of Fame. Like, tell people. Why does no one know that these people are Hall of Famers? Luckily, Gary Patterson and company will go on a Hall of Fame tour the rest of the year and make appearances across the country. But shout out to you, Dan. Did I say Dan? Ryan in Illinois. You're wondering who the Hall of Famers are and where they are? Whatever. You can Google it for that. 310-840-4910. Those are our biggest losers today, the New York Jets, because they are the Jets. Art Rooney for having no idea that Mike Tomlin was stepping down. Those of you who made the mock drafts, biggest losers today. And the College Football Hall of Fame marketing team for just not telling us that there were new inductees to the College Football Hall of Fame. Because who would ever want to know that? 310-840-4910. 310-840-4910. You can call the Drake Toll Show and get involved around the corner with our obituaries. Who died today? Westwood One Sports, the Westwood One Sports app. This is the Drake Toll Show.
This
She just caught the Jamestown ferry. It's not a hot day, January, like she said it'd be if she ever left me. A case of gone was all she carried as she got on the Jamestown ferry. And she said that gone was all she'd ever be. I didn't think that she'd leave me after saying how much she need me, but the fact still remains. I'm sitting there all alone, missing the loving of my baby. Lord, it's about to drive me crazy. She was the sweetest piece of ever I've ever known. She just caught the Jamestown ferry. It's not a hot day, January, like she said it'd be if she ever left me. A case of gone was all she carried as she got on the Jamestown ferry. And she said that gone was all she'd ever be. As I walk through that valley of honky-tonks and bars, I remember how she'd hold me, comfort me with talk. She didn't cuss with every breath. She had a soothing southern drawl, made me feel like a man through it all. She just caught the Jamestown ferry. It's not a hot day, January, like she said it'd be if she ever left me.
Your bed's playing. You're up. Bed's still playing. I don't know why you can't hear it.
Here we go. Yeah. The Drake Toll Show. Westwood One Sports, the Westwood One Sports app. I've got a late addition here to our idiots of the day. No, our biggest losers. Ryan McGuire, Westwood One, who runs our programming, sent me a text, said, I'm a biggest loser today because truly I have been following the mock drafts for the National Football League here recently. And, yeah, fully expected, as did everyone else, that Dante Moore would go in the top 5. And now Dante Moore, you are an Oregon Duck once again. Welcome back to the Drake Toll Show. 310-840-4910. 310-840-4910. Drake Toll with you. Westwood One Sports, the Westwood One Sports app. Addie Bates, who produces the Drake Toll Show in Washington, D.C. Curtis Poindexter runs the board in Culver City, California. Addie, good morning. All right, she's somewhere in the void. Thank you, Addie, for saying good morning back to me.
On. I don't know why you're not hearing anything.
Beautiful. It's Time for, and Addie, that's it. That's all I wanted from you is just a good morning, I guess. It is time for our obituaries. Yeah, here we go. It's that gong sound that gets me going every day. Dylan Raiola. It's our obituary number one for, he's not dead. He's not dead. Dylan Raiola is alive. Dylan Raiola is not himself an obituary, but instead Dylan Raiola's chances of starting at Oregon, those are dead. Dong. Goodbye to those. As of today, January 15th, 6:03, 14 a.m. Central Time, 7:03, 18 a.m. now Eastern Time. Raiola will not start at Oregon next year. He transferred from Nebraska to be the quarterback at Oregon, and that's just not going to work out. His Dante Moore is coming back to the Ducks, so we'll see. I'm not sure if Raiola has signed the dotted line. This is weird. If you're not a big college football fan, you are hearing for the first time now that these college players have to. A lot of them are signing contracts now in the NIL era for multiple years, or they're signing the dotted line with their conferences to decide what their NIL is going to look like, what their money, their pay is going to look like. DJ Lagway, who was the top quarterback in his class, is transferring from Florida to Baylor and is still, that I know of today, not signed with the Bears. He's committed verbally, but it's not put pen to paper. Until you put pen to paper, it's hard to make it all happen. So I don't know if Raiola will stay with Oregon, stay with his commitment to Oregon next season, but his chances of starting are now 0. Those died today. Also, this is the kid, if you've seen the viral videos and are wondering who Dylan Raiola is, he's the kid who believes he's Patrick Mahomes. He wore the same number, has the same hair, has the same headband, did all those things at Nebraska. And when the Huskers played a game at in Kansas City at the home of the Chiefs, he just did everything that was Patrick Mahomes. And Mahomes wore an Oregon jersey 10 days ago. And I guess Raiola decided, I see Oregon, I'm going to go there. It's not going to work out now. He'll be the backup quarterback, if anything, if he sticks to the whole Oregon deal. Obituary number 2. Say goodbye. We mourn the loss today of Dante Moore as a New York Jet. Yes. Sad, huh? We all believed 24 hours ago that Dante Moore would be the number 2 draft pick in this year's class. And instead, he is going back to Oregon, as I just mentioned. And because of that, if you're a Jets fan, you might be a little sad. Here's what I think you need to know is Dante Moore would rather make $5 to $7 million at Oregon next year as opposed to playing for the Jets. Now, the number 2 overall pick is going to get a lot of money wherever they go. So if you are turning that down because you expect that the Jets are the ones who are going to draft you, the Jets are going to be your landing spot. If you say, I'm not going into the NFL draft because of the Jets, that is how you say a bad thing for everyone here involved. And Dante Moore is proving that the whole Manning situation where you get to be picky about where you want to go is alive and well, and even better now because the players are getting paid. That's it. If you want to go, I'm obituarying, that's a verb, Dante Moore's career, the lack thereof with the Jets right now. If you want to go to the office today and be the genius, you tell them players are going to start foregoing the draft because they want to go somewhere that's not New York, because they want to go somewhere that's not Las Vegas. That'll be the case moving forward as these guys get paid not comparable money, but a lot of money to stay in college. We will now say goodbye. Obituary, gambling, and your testosterone. Yeah, we read yesterday Addie Bates told us on the Drake Toll Show, but there was someone on Twitter who had mentioned pretty vehemently that gambling is killing your testosterone because of, I think it's FanDuel has bet insurance. So if the player you bet on ends up getting hurt, if the player you bet on ends up getting hurt in the first half, you have bet insurance for the rest of the game. And because of that, because of this loser's mentality, if that's the case, then we're killing the youth of our nation as they are no longer able to deal with the consequences of their actions because of the free bet they get. And today, Dominic Michael Trippi tweets, gambling is now the second fastest growing industry in the United States in terms of GDP growth. Oof. If that's the case, testosterone no longer a thing for most of the country. All right, let's do something. Let's test this here. Addie Bates of the Drake Toll Show, do you have me here? I see you. I understand you. The valiant effort you're giving is much appreciated. The ability to hear you from me is nigh. But you look great. I can see you virtually. I'm sure you're doing well.
Take it out, no headphones. It sounds bad. They're gonna fix it, but
you have you have at the very least given me the opportunity to say hello to some level and the world. Here, take your chance. Tell the world the first. I'll read your lips here. You tell the world your first headline today, and I will do my best to try and figure out what you're saying. I'm ready to go. Yep. You give me a headline. Give me a first headline. Come on. You know, I wish we had Kevin Harlan on the show today to talk about Cooper Flagg and this injury. The Dallas Mavericks losing him to, and I'll go back to this. I walked into the restaurant last night, the owner's box. No free ads, but all right. Walk into the owner's box, and it's a restaurant in Dallas. And within a couple minutes, Mark Cuban walks in the door. And so I opened the conversation up with a few guys that I'm at dinner with, and Damon, also from Shark Tank, walks in right after him. And I thought, I should ask Mark Cuban about which he was not a part. He didn't know about the trade for Luka going to the Lakers. At least that's the story. But I really wanted to know what his thoughts were on Anthony Davis playing in like 20% of the available games that he's had as a Dallas Maverick. Didn't do it. It word to the wise here. You get to become biggest loser, idiot of the day, if you see a famous person and you stop them and you're like, hey, let me ask you about this thing that's controversial. Let's not. On a scale of 1 to things we could do, that's at like a 0. We shouldn't. And in this case, I did not ask Mark Cuban, which has nothing to do with Cooper Flagg, but it made me think of the Dallas Mavericks. Him with the ankle sprain is just another nugget on the, pun intended, playing the Nuggets, another nugget on the list of things for Mavericks fans to be sad about. Because Cooper Flagg is very good. Is he Luka Doncic? No. Number one, he's not fat. At least that's what the Mavericks wanted to tell me. Luka was too fat to play in the NBA. Cooper Flagg is possibly too skinny to play for the Dallas Mavericks and has now sprained his ankle. Just another blunder by the Mavericks because they are the Mavericks. All right, that's over a minute. Addie, headline number 2, please. Do we have a segment called Biggest Liars? Can we invent a segment called Liar of the Day? Yeah. Thank you. Permission for the Liar of the Day. No. No. What I think the last I checked, and I haven't Googled this in a while because I'm a normal human being that doesn't do this in my free time. I'm not sitting in my Uber and Googling this for fun. Who has the most expensive franchise in sports, but I do still believe it's the Dallas Cowboys. Passed by their facilities yesterday. Do still believe they have the crown jewel of stadiums in the National Football League. I've been to SoFi, one of the newest ones, and it kind of sucks a little bit. But there is And the reason it sucks is because there are openings on each end zones. So if it rains and it rains sideways, which happens sometimes in LA, it did the day that I was there, you get rained on inside of SoFi. Bad. All that to say, the Dallas Cowboys have a very expensive, formidable franchise. And if Stephen Ross, I love that the headline is reveals. This is a big secret. Stephen Ross is telling us, he's revealing to the world, he's been offered $15 billion to sell the Dolphins. No, you haven't. That's not a real thing. That $15 billion, that's no. If the Cowboys, and again, I think the Cowboys last I checked were like $10 billion. No. No one's buying the Dolphins for $15 billion. That's not happening. Thank you, Stephen, for playing, though. That's, again, over a minute. Addy, headline number 3, please. I was really hoping you'd say this one. Oh, my gosh. I have hardly slept since I saw this news. $130 million. Would love a slice of that. I think on the one hand, I don't know how much I really care, but maybe the MLB insider and expert Addy Bates can enlighten us on why the world should care. Addy, you have a minute. Go. Of course. Right? I knew all of those things and would have said them myself had you not chimed in and given me that for our headlines today. Wow. We great minds think alike. Headline number 4, if you will, future wife of Arch Manning. You would come in here with some Texas basketball, wouldn't you? You would come to this show, the Texas fan wearing the secret burnt orange somewhere on yourself and bring up them beating Vanderbilt. It is Vanderbilt's first loss this year. Vanderbilt's been very, very good. Been waiting for Sean at UT to kick in for his impact to be felt. Their loss earlier this year to Arizona State felt like kind of an early nail into their season and their March Madness hopes. You win a home game, and Texas has not been that consistent in the new Moody Center since they built it, dating back to their Big 12 days, like 4 or 5 years ago when that thing opened up. Texas, I don't think is a March Madness team, but you now have a top 10 win, even it being at home. They're still 11-6. That's not great. The same UT team that, again, lost to Arizona State earlier in the year, lost to Mississippi State to start SEC play. They lost at Tennessee by double digits, but their last 2 wins at Alabama and against number 10 Vanderbilt. Those are 2 top 15 wins back-to-back. They host Texas A&M, which they're certainly going to win. That, at the very least, gets you into a groove in SEC play. The SEC is a good basketball conference. It's not what the Big 12 is, and there are still very good teams in the Big East, but the SEC has a lot of schools hovering around that 10 to 25 range, from number 10 in the country to number 25 in the country, whether it's Florida, Arkansas, Georgia. Georgia will drop after their loss yesterday to Ole Miss, but the SEC is strong. And Texas winning this game is at least another reason why they will have a case if this continues to make March Madness come the end of the year. That's right at a minute. Addy, final headline today. Wow, is that you? Marcus Freeman. This Marcus Freeman. No doubt, huh? You can leave as much doubt as you want, Marcus, because with this new rule they've implemented by the College Football Playoff Committee in 2026, Notre Dame, as long as they finish in the top 12, anywhere in the top 12 will be treated as a conference champion. And so because of that, the Fighting Irish will be given a playoff spot anywhere in the top 12. And their schedule next year is plenty easy enough. They play next to no one. Their BYU game will actually be fascinating. They go to Provo, Utah in 2026. We'll see how that shakes out for both of those schools that have college football playoff aspirations. But I think Notre Dame, just being in the top 12, when you get to create your own schedule. Again, I've said this. If the Dallas Cowboys, if they got to say, hey, we're leaving the NFC, we'll stay in the NFL, we're leaving the NFC, and we're just going to do it on our own, schedule our own teams. We'll play Rutgers one week, and the next week we'll play the Cleveland Browns. Then obviously they would go to the playoffs every year. It's what Notre Dame does. And I'm not saying it's the easiest schedule in the world, but Notre Dame gets to craft their own path, their own 12 games to the playoff. And they'll do it next season, and maybe they'll leave no doubt with a schedule that's just not that daunting. Also, I think Marcus Freeman saying Notre Dame will leave no doubt for the college football playoff in 2026 is him saying that Notre Dame will do that. Marcus Freeman, the head coach of the Cleveland Browns, will not do that. He will be coaching the Cleveland Browns or the Pittsburgh Steelers while Notre Dame makes its race toward the title. That is the Quickie. Top 5 headlines in sports today. From Texas to Marcus Freeman, all the way to Cooper Flagg rolling his ankle. Oh, no, ankle sprain. That's the segment sponsored by Progressive Commercial Insurance, which protects small businesses with affordable coverage options. Quote today at Progressive.com. That is ProgressiveCommercial.com. Quote today at ProgressiveCommercial.com. On the other side, 310-840-4910. You can call the show, 310-840-4910. The Bears, the Rams. I have insider info on who will win this game and why they will win this game. All right here on Westwood One Sports, the Westwood One Sports app, and the Drake Toll Show.
Suddenly I'm up on top of the world. It should have been somebody else. Believe it or not, I'm walking on air. I never thought I could feel so free. Flying away on a wing and a prayer. Who could it be? Believe it or not, it's just me. Well, when I was young, my mama read me nursery rhymes beside my bed. And though they sounded mighty fine, they made no sense to me. Now that I am all grown up, it seems my nights have changed as such. So I went out and made me up a nursery rhyme for me. It goes bar light, bar bright, first bar that I see tonight. Wish I might find someone to hold me tight. Hey, diddle, diddle, the man with the fiddle and the girl sing along with the tunes. Just one more dance till you turn out the lights and you can shut down this saloon. You know, I never understood how a big old gal could raise no kids in a shoe. And any old jack goes jumping a candle needs to find something better to do. And a rub-a-dub-dub 3 minute a tub sure sounds kind of funny to me. So I made up a honky-tonk nursery rhyme and it's the only one I'll sing. It goes bar light, bar bright. First bar that I see tonight. Wish I might find someone to hold me tight. Hey, diddle, diddle, a man with the fiddle and the girls sing along with the tunes. Just one more dance till you turn out the lights and you can shut down this saloon. I said I never understood how a big old gal could raise no kids in a shoe. And any old jack goes jumping a candle needs to find something better to do. And rub-a-dub-dub, 3 men in a tub sure sounds kind of funny to me. So I made up a honky-tonk nursery rhyme, and it's the only one I'll sing. It goes bar light, bar bright. First bar that I see tonight. Wish I might find someone to hold me tight. Hey, diddle, diddle, a man with a fiddle and the girls sing along with the tunes. Just one more dance till you turn out the lights and you can shut down this saloon. I said just one more dance till you turn out the lights and you can shut down this saloon.
I believe I can fly. Addie Bates, producer of the Drake Toll Show. Can I ask you a question, please?
Yeah, what's up?
If you are... So I went to Baylor University. Oh, by the way, hi. Good morning.
Good morning.
Drake Toll with you, Addie, from the Drake Toll Show on Westwood One Sports, the Westwood One Sports app. I went to Baylor University. Baylor's rival is...
Why would I be talking about Baylor?
Addie? Baylor's rival is...
I don't know no clue who your rival is.
What? TCU. Come on, the Holy War. It's the Revivalry. Get it? Because, religion.
TCU.
Yeah, TCU. Texas Christian University. So if you are me, sentient 24-year-old, 2 days away from being 25, and you went to Baylor, would you ever wear or own or display a sign of your rival?
No.
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 Like you as a Texas Longhorns fan, which NFL, I don't root for any NFL team. I hope they all lose. Which NFL team do you root for?
I'm a Saints fan.
Oh, no. Gross. Throw up in my
Yes.
mouth.
Yes.
Fun to root
You're a
for.
Cowboys fan.
I mean, vaguely, yes. Fun to root for, the Saints are. I like when they win, but oof. That's just a sad existence. So you would never you would not wear a hoodie, an Oklahoma hoodie, or say have a Falcons hat on, right?
Drake, if you ever saw me in an Oklahoma hoodie, that's how you know I've finally lost it and that you need to put me in an institution, actually. That's how you know I've lost it.
Okay. So the fact that I'm drinking my daily caffeine energy drink out of a TCU koozie, do I lose points for that?
That's insane.
What if I tell you
That's nuts.
It was a gift from the Hall of Famer Gary Patterson at his Hall of Fame celebration last night. Like, where do you draw? Where does the line start of, okay, you have enough connection to break the mold and be a vague supporter of your rival?
Okay. That is actually acceptable because like I'm an Astros fan. A good friend of mine, Chris Jimenez, used to play for the Rangers, and we've joked. He's like, "Yeah, I'll get you a jersey," and I would wear that jersey even if it says Texas Rangers, even though I hate the Rangers and I like the worst team on the planet because it's a friend of mine. It's Chris Jimenez. He's the homie.
That was my question of the day in my brain. Was it feels a little weird holding the TCU koozie. Like if you were a Boston Red Sox fan. And this is a great question to pose before we talk Rams and Bears. If you're a Boston Red Sox fan and one day your car stalls on the interstate and Derek Jeter gives you a ride to your next location, and Jeter in that ride is like, yeah, man, super happy to help. If you want, I have this. It's just a Yankees mini bat. Do you keep the Yankees mini bat?
Yeah, you have to. You have to. If it's like given to you by that person, but if it's just like I'm going out and like wearing a Falcons shirt, no, absolutely no way.
Right. That's good. That's why Addie Bates is here, everybody. Top-notch takes right there. And Addie is dealing with her own food poisoning today. So Addie, it is after yesterday, I survived. First hour of the show for you was interesting. Congratulations on surviving.
Thank you. I felt so bad for Drake yesterday. I was like, you know what? I also need to get sick.
Because you recommended the restaurant that I went to and got food poisoning from.
I did. And actually, Drake, you know what? I might go to Chewy's today. That's a good move.
Yeah. I was up at probably 1:30 Eastern time and got a text from our vice president, Bruce Gilbert, at Westwood One, who was like, hey, hope the food poisoning was okay. Thanks for doing the show. I was like, Bruce, yeah, whatever. It's super cool, man. We got this. And he sent back, why are you awake? I was like, yeah, I don't know. BYU was playing basketball against TCU last night. I'm just a fiend for watching any and all sports. That's the problem. That's my biggest loser today. The idiot of the day is whoever schedules sports. Because as someone who lives on the East Coast, they just go until the wee hours of the morning, and then we have to be up for the Drake Toll show fairly early. So, Addie, I'll put you in that category as someone who's in Washington, D.C. Curtis Poindexter, who runs the board, it's like 3:30 in the morning for Curtis, or 3:30, something like that. It's like 4:30 in the morning for Curtis.
4:30 now, but I get in here at 1:30.
4:30 for Curtis. He gets in at 1:30. That's nuts, man. That's crazy. And he'll produce You Bet, with Nick Costos after this as well. So I guess you'll figure it out, Curtis. This is the job that we do.
You'll figure it out. You'll get over it. Get over yourself.
I have no positive things to say to Curtis, but I just hunker down, man. Show up to work at 1:30 in the morning, hunker down, figure it out. We could be in the foxhole.
Rest easy, brother.
Curtis, they fought in Normandy, all right? They were in Normandy, and you're over here telling me you got up at 1:30 in the morning, all right? You just come around to that.
Got up would mean that I fell asleep.
We'll see you in Valhalla.
We'll see it. We have the watch, Curtis. You rest now. You rest now. Addie and I will carry. This is the Drake Toll Show. Addie, let's jump into this. Bears and Rams. I'm going to give you the opportunity. That's really weird, actually. I want to go back and forth here on this a bit, and the big reason is I need convincing that Matthew Stafford, who is 1-9 in his last 10 games in snow or heavy rain, who is playing a game likely in the snow that will be one of the coldest playoff games in NFL history. You're going to see wind chills possibly in the negatives in this game between the Rams and the Bears. Addie, I just don't, and I know it's Matthew Stafford. I know he's experienced. I know he's good, but I just don't know if I can trust anyone from a West Coast warm team to go into negative degrees, especially 1-9 in their last 10 games in rain or snow, and win.
I will say that Matthew Stafford, remember where he was before he was with the Rams? Remember where he was?
Yes, the Detroit Lions.
This is
the
not
indoor stadium.
Yes, but that's not when you're practicing and stuff like that. I know it's an indoor stadium. I'm just saying you're playing all these teams up there too. Yeah. The division that he was playing in. Yeah. It's not his first rodeo with that, but the Bears are a team right now that I don't want to play.
True.
The Cardiac Bears, I was out on them, but it just seems like everything they're doing is just working. And yes, now that they're going to be in the cold at Soldier, by the way, hot take here, probably one of the worst football stadiums I've ever been to. But the Bears have the momentum on that one. Weather on their side, weather permitting, they have the momentum on that one.
Do the Bears at Soldier Field have the pee troughs? Do they do the pee troughs?
That's a good question.
You're a girl, right? So they wouldn't do the pee troughs in the girls' bathroom. Actually, I haven't
Like
been.
why? Like that's why I'm like, why? How would I know that?
Right, I haven't been in the girls' bathroom. I would assume in the women's bathroom, in the female bathroom, they don't have the pee troughs.
No.
That would be a bit of a disaster. No. Bears and Rams. Soldier Field was also. Remember when Kanye was still a thing?
Yeah. Yes, I do. He made Graduation.
He did make Graduation. I'm coming home again. Homecoming. When he did I think it was the last album he did with Marilyn Manson. Am I right? Am I there? Is this ringing a bell to you?
Gosh, yeah, those are two terrible. Yeah,
I don't think Marilyn Manson was on the album, but Marilyn Manson was at Soldier Field when Kanye came out with this new album. This is probably 3 or 4 years ago. I was in college. And I remember vividly when I was in college, I had 7 roommates. It's a house of 8 guys. Brutal. And we all decided that we're going to watch this Kanye live stream. I don't know why. Not my idea. Jeremy Vosberg, wild guy. He had it. He somehow, like, I'm going to, like, if the government's listening, this is very bad for Jeremy Vosberg. He had found, like, an RPG. Isn't that the thing that shoots, like, the not missiles, but missile equivalent? Addie, you're the producer. You know things.
Yes. How do we just stumble across an RPG?
I couldn't tell you, but Jeremy was one of those guys. Everyone knows that guy, that if you went to prison and had to bring someone else down with you, so the prison was an enjoyable experience. Jeremy was that guy, that if I ever am to go to prison, I would just tell the government about Jeremy. They would also send him to prison, and him and I would get along in there very well. He would know people and he would make prison enjoyable for us. Jeremy was that guy, and he was very excited about the Kanye album. I think Kanye was supposed to go on at like 10 p.m. Central Time, and I'm going to put a pin in this story. I just got a text from Curtis Poindexter, our board operator. Curtis, you said you have confirmation on pee troughs at Soldier Field?
I have breaking news.
Breaking news. We sent it to Culver City. Curtis Poindexter. Curtis?
Pee troughs on the 200 and 300 level.
They do have pee troughs?
Curtis, way to just step over. Way to step over, Curtis. Curtis, reporter on site right there, just stepping over the anchor, Curtis.
Curtis, we send it to you in California.
I got my journalism degree that I don't use.
Thank you, Curtis. We have confirmation. At what levels are the pee troughs?
200s and 300s.
Great. I'll look forward to that at Soldier Field. Thank you. Good confirmation. The whole Kanye thing. We decided we were going to watch this at 10 p.m. He didn't come on the stage until, I think, midnight Central Time, which was so brutal. It was at Soldier Field. And Marilyn Manson comes out with him, and it's just bump, 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 bump. Take what you want. I think Jail Part 2 is on this new album. This was, again, 3 or 4 years ago. And Jeremy's just playing it on his subwoofers he's got in the living room because he's Jeremy. And it's so loud that I'm like, you know what? There's no studying. I can't even. I give up. I'm just going to sit in the living room with Jeremy and just whatever, listen to Kanye. And in the middle of it, down comes Caleb Hemphill, who we did not know was home, from upstairs at 1 a.m, and he's screaming. He was the dad of the house. We would get a text every 3 days. We'd wake up to a text at 7 o'clock, like how disgraceful we all are. Which, by the way, one of my best friends in the world, he was just, had like not even a military background, but that kind of guy. He comes downstairs. He's just screaming at everybody, Jeremy, grow up, get a life, get a job. Stop firing your RPG at the back of our house toward the Jimmy John's in Waco, Texas. It's like, figure it out. Figure your life out. You all suck. Goes back upstairs. Caleb's a doctor now. He was studying to be a doctor and just wanted to sleep. But we were subwoofering Soldier Field, Kanye, his new album. Bears Rams. All that to say, give me the Bears in the cold weather. On the other side of this break, crazy Chicago Bears fan is on the line. We're going to hear from a guy who has boots on the ground in Chicago and believes the Bears are not just going to win, but blow out the Rams, and he has proof for it. Let's see if we can back it up here on Westwood One, the Westwood One Sports app. This is the Drake Toll Show.
Bomba-dee-da, 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 until we meet again. Happy trails to you. Keep smiling on till then. Who cares about the clouds when we're together? Just sing a song and think about sunny weather. Happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you. Keep smiling on till then. Some trails are happy ones, other trails are blue. It's the way you ride that counts. Here's a happy one for you. Happy trails to you till we meet
Let's go. The Drake Toll Show, Westwood One Sports, the Westwood One Sports app. NFL postseason, college football playoff national championship on Monday. John Harbaugh, the next head coach of the New York Football Giants. Come on. There are so many things that are, how you say, happening right now. 310-840-4910, 310-840-4910. You, yes, you, in your sentient state. Touch yourself. Grab your hand. You're real. You can do it. You can pick up your phone and call the show, the Drake Toll Show, 310-840-4910. We will go to the caller line now. Crazy Chicago Bears fan. Any chance that those Bears win this weekend?
I mean, it's the Chicago Bears. There's always a chance. Haven't we proven this time after time after time, especially last week?
Yes. As long as I'm not taking Chicago money line in the first half, I do think my money could be wisely spent on the Bears.
Well, yeah, it's never the first half with the Chicago Bears. It's the fourth quarter. You just wait. You wait through 3 agonizing hours, and then as soon as the fourth quarter starts, that's when you bet Bears money line when they're down 20, and then they just win.
6:44 Central Time and 27 seconds right now. Crazy Chicago Bears fan, and you don't sound as crazy as I was expecting here. You're actually fairly tame. Give me. I want to take you back to last week, the Packers game. Give me the next minute your thoughts on the Green Bay Packers in the wake of what we saw last Saturday.
The Green Bay Packers are soft. No two ways about it. If you want to get up there pre-game and before the game and the days leading up to the game and say, oh, we're ready. We're no one else we want to play except Chicago. We want to go in there and we want to get our get back. And then you lose. And then after the game, it's, but they were mean to us. Their head coach is mean. Get out of here. You're soft. Take your tears, take your ball, and go home. I don't want to hear it. This is what a rivalry is. This is what sports are. Grow up. See you next year. Better luck next time.
This is Crazy Chicago Bears fan, Crazy Chicago sports fan, joining the Drake Toll Show, Westwood One Sports. He is 3 cigarettes in this morning. He's already had 2 PBRs. They are on sale at the 7-Eleven down the street today. Crazy Chicago Bears fan. This weekend, the Rams. I'm hearing it will be snowing and like -8 degrees for this contest. Where does that put the Los Angeles Rams in their chances to win?
Well, first of all, to circle back to the PBRs, it was actually 2 for $3 at the 7-Eleven, and don't you dare forget the Malort that also came with it.
Yeah.
It's called the Chicago Handshake. Look it up. But
wait, Chicago Bears fan, can I pause you here? Can I get your unabridged thoughts? Please be as aggressive as you want about the gas stations who are now selling Fireball, but it's not actually Fireball. It's not liquor. It's that weird Fireball like wine supplement stuff. I mean, it's just infuriating.
It's infuriating, but listen, you got to do what you got to do. We are in for a record cold game on Sunday. You have to prepare every which way that you can because, listen, you got to go a little liquid blanket for yourself. Fireball, knockoff Fireball, whatever's going to work, whatever gets the job done, you got to do it.
Yeah, if it works, it works. Mock Fireball still tastes like Fireball. It all tastes the same when you're shooting it. LA Rams coming to town, cold game, and go.
Yeah, I mean, I love this. And Ben Johnson continues to be a complete psychopath, saying that the Bears are practicing without heaters all year, no matter the cold, no matter the temperature outside, no heaters. If I had to guess, the Los Angeles Rams and Matt Stafford, who, may have grown up in Texas and then played in a dome his entire life, probably not practicing without the heaters. I think the Rams are in for a very rude awakening. I think they are going to get punched in the mouth by the weather today. I mean, Drake, right now, granted, we're still a couple days away from the game, but it is a real feel of -2 outside right now in Chicago, 6:46 Central Time, by the way. So I don't think the Rams are in for a good time. I think they're going to be shivering like children on that sideline. And I think the Bears, because they're all psychopaths, and especially their head coach, they're ready for this. And I honestly think that the Bears are going to come out there hair on fire, proverbially, not literally, of course, although that would be good for the temperature. I think the Rams are in for a bad time.
Producer of the Drake Toll Show, Addie Bates, is telling me that she's done research on Crazy Chicago sports fan. He grew up on the South Side after moving to Aurora for the first 3 years of his life, but hard times, recession. Now he's in the South Side Chicago. and he is Catholic. We've confirmed that as well. Matthew Stafford, I'm hearing from many people on the text line right now. Stafford, 46 touchdowns to Caleb Williams, 27 this year. One text says, Matthew Stafford unequivocally better than Williams. That's the difference. Give me the Rams by 10. How do you respond?
I mean, how many times have we heard that the opposing quarterback is better than Caleb Williams this year? Like, cool, throw the stats at me. Cool, throw Caleb Williams' mistakes at me. Cool, throw the completion rate at me. I don't care. What does Caleb Williams do? He shows up when it matters, and he just wins you games, i.e. the Packers game last week. Oh, the Packers game before that as well. Oh, the Cincinnati game. Like, he just does this. The dude just wins. He looks like the USC Caleb Williams that we've seen with these off-script throws, and he's also making the scripted throws as well. Cool, I know Matt Stafford's probably going to win the MVP. Congrats on your legacy award, old man. But the fact of the matter is, who do you actually want to have the ball over the last couple of weeks with one play on the line? I direct you to the fourth down play to Roman Dunze last week for your answer.
Crazy Chicago sports fan, I'm getting confirmation from the director of entertainment for the Savannah Bananas that your take on Fireball, whether real or fake, is a bad, I quote, bad Fireball take. I'm a proponent of the real one personally. Aside from that, will there or will there not be defense between the Chicago Bears and the LA Rams based on what the Bears have done this year in rallying but not playing very good first-half defense?
Yeah, they're not a very good first-half defensive team, maybe not even a very good defensive team overall, but they are getting healthier. The injury report looks much better this week. Most notably, C.J. Gardner-Johnson had a full practice yesterday, or was expected to, probably going to practice in full the rest of the week, which is really good because for as much of a breakout as Nashawn Wright has had, he's a takeaway specialist. Gardner-Johnson's better overall. He gives you more depth in that secondary, and when you have the guy who's likely to win the MVP, as well as Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams also coming to town, you need as much depth in the secondary as you can. I think there will be defense, but especially because of the weather, and especially because you know the Bears, if they can, they're going to run the ball. That's going to be their preference between DeAndre Swift and Kyle Monangai. They're going to prefer to run the ball. So as much as the Rams' offense is a high-flying one, I think the weather is going to kick them down a little bit, and the Bears are going to try and grind this game out with the run game.
This is crazy Chicago Bears fan. It's probably like the least crazy Chicago Bears fan you could probably ever dream of. This is really tame, actually, which cool. There could be NFL analysts that call the show like, yeah, it's gonna be a great game between two teams that really want to win. You know, I like the Rams offense. I like the Chicago Bears offense. It's gonna be a great game. But this is crazy Chicago Bears fans. It's better for all of us. Before we move on to the only other topic I want to get to when it comes to Chicago, and I will get that in a second, give me a final score prediction, how this game will play out. Your boots on. I mean, look, did you burn couches last weekend? Like, what's the vibe in Chicago right now?
I didn't burn couches, but, man, I was running in the streets. Every single street back alley, I was out there, sleeves off, shirt off. We were in the streets. We were active, Drake. I'll tell you that right now. Final score for this game, like I said, I don't think it's going to be your typical Rams game where it's zip, zip, zip. I think the weather is going to have a big impact here, and the Bears are just going to try and grind you out, punch you in the mouth, and send you packing home. So I'm going to say that this game goes 24-17, the Bears win.
Send them packing. Packers reference. Crazy Chicago sports fan. Last thing that I think I have for you. Tomislav Ivisic. Is that a real name? Is that a real human being? Confirm that first, please.
Oh, that is a very real human being. That is a very real name. That is my large adult beautiful son.
Yeah, Tomislav Ivisic, probably not from the United States. Am I correct in that?
That would be correct. Yes, that is very intuitive of you.
Nailed it there. That's why I'm the expert. Number 13, Illinois, 79-68 over Northwestern. Yeah, a little intrastate crime going on here. Give me your synopsis of Tomislav Ivisic and the Illinois basketball team.
I love this team. This team is probably as good, if not better, than the team that made a run to the Elite Eight just a couple of years ago with Terrence Shannon Jr., now in the NBA. Ever heard of him? But Tomislav Ivisic is the man. I mean, I love this Illinois Fighting Balkans team. They are all just straight from the Balkans, from Croatia, from Serbia. It rocks. And I think they're amazing. They are a top 5 offensive team. They're a top 15 defensive team. They can do no wrong in my eyes. I'm sure there'll be a slip up at some point, but they're on pace to start the year 8-1 in conference play. That would be their best since 2008. So Purdue in a couple of weeks, not scared. See you at Mackey. I can hear them shaking in their boots already.
Terrence Shannon is a real name. Tomislav Ivicic is made up. I have 30 more seconds before we have to go to break. Quickly, very quickly, Alex Bregman, go.
Alex Bregman does a lot. He's huge for the lineup. You know what he brings from a leadership standpoint, but I still have a lot of concerns about that rotation despite the addition of Edward Cabrera, who, his elbow almost exploded to end the year before the Cubs traded for him.
My elbow explodes like every day. Crazy Chicago Bears fan, thanks for your call.
Hey, anytime.
That was more like most reasonable Chicago Bears fan ever. Wow. That's almost like a redeeming. Like I want to root for Chicago now. It made me feel more inclined. Like, all right, thanks for being a nice guy. I'm just a chill guy. As they say. Coming up, we have our idiots of the day, and then the Hall of Famer, the College Football Hall of Famer. Gary Patterson joins the show. This show brought to you by Ethos Life. Easy way to get life insurance in 10 minutes, up to $3 million in coverage with no medical exam. No medical exam, just a few health questions. Get your free quote. Check ethos.com. Check ethos.com. Not available in all states. Right here on the Drake Toll Show.
This is West.
Gathered in their masses, just like witches at black masses. Evil minds that plot destruction, sorcerer of death's construction. In the fields of bodies burning, as the war machine keeps turning, death and hatred to mankind, poisoning their brainwashed minds. Oh Lord, yeah. Father,
fill your soul today. Drake Toll. The Drake Toll Show. Westwood One Sports, the Westwood One Sports app. Welcome to, a moment in time. We don't get today back. There's only one January 15th, Thursday, January 15th, 2026. There's only one time that it will ever be 7 o'clock Central Time and 46 seconds, which it is right now. 8 o'clock and 49 seconds Eastern Time. You only get one of those. And this is the moment you and I get to share together. And you know what? You might be thinking to yourself, I bet this is the last hour we have together today. And you're exactly right when you think that. If you're thinking, I bet him and I only get to talk for the next 60 minutes. Bang, you nailed it, bud. 59 minutes now. But there's no reason to be sad. We all made friends today. We all got to hold hands today. We all got to hang out today. Curtis Poindexter to Addie Bates. And we still have an hour left. It's not over yet. It's not done yet. And the second that I get off the air, the second that I'm not on your airwaves anymore, the second that Westwood One app says, hey, no more Drake Toll for you. Well, my friends Armin Williams and Bruce Gilbert, they got you covered. They were thinking about you when they said, you know what, let's go from Drake and the Drake Toll Show to You Better You Bet with Nick Costos. After that's over, damn it, give me Bleck and Abdallah or give me death. And as soon as Bleck and Abdallah are done, from noon to 3 p.m. Eastern Time, as soon as those two Chicago blokes hang up, Jim Rome, check that. Jim Rome, check that. Chris Everett will come on the air, followed by BetMGM Tonight, Brad Evans, Pat Boyle, Linnell Willingham, Josh Graham. It's just loaded, man. You should have all day of listening to the radio. And it rocks. Hey, Addie Bates of the Drake Toll Show. Hey.
Yes. What's up?
Question for you. I need backup here.
Answer for you.
Just got this notification from WJCL News. A man flying a powered paraglider fell 500 feet into the ocean in Florida after a strong gust of wind made his parachute collapse. Gotta be dead, right? God, you can't.
Dead or alive.
There's no coming back from that, right? Like I'm. You're the producer. You're the one who's supposed to know things. That's raps. Am I correct?
I would assume so. 500 feet into the water.
Yeah. Because at like 300 feet, I think the water becomes concrete. Is that right?
Yeah.
I'm going to go with dead, probably. 500 feet, paraglider, fell into the ocean. Play paragliding games, win paragliding prizes, as I like to say. Really funny, though, that not him falling 500 feet, not funny. But there is a video of it, of course. There's a video of everything now. And you can see the paragliding man fall into the ocean. The first comment is from Kelly Romanos Day. Kelly says, what, so you just sit there and record and don't go to help him? What in the world?
What do you do to help?
And the next comment is, what was he going to do? Catch him? Oh, people rock. Dude fell 500 feet paragliding. Are you going to record and not help? What am I going to do? What am I supposed to do? Catch him? Oh, that's great. That's really great. Drake Toll, the Drake Toll Show. I'm not going to make the paraglider the idiot of the day. I'm not. They asked me to do that. I'm not going to do that. That is crass and mean, and I would fire myself if that happened. What am I going to do? Catch him? 310-840-4910. Drake Toll, Westwood One Sports, the Westwood One Sports app. We have Coach Gary Patterson, the Hall of Famer, brand new college football Hall of Famer, joining the show. But first, time for our Idiot of the Day.
Idiot of the Day.
Sadly, I never thought this day would come. Liam Cohen is an idiot of the day. Oh.
Duval.
I mean, I don't feel good about this. I don't want to do this to Liam Cohen. I like him. He is my friend. That sweet lady, Miss Lynn, said the nice things to him at the press conference. That was awesome. That was great. I loved that. But then the headline came out yesterday. Liam Cohen still plans for Travis Hunter to play on both sides of the ball. Addie, question for you. How did it go when Travis Hunter tried vaguely to play both sides of the ball in the year of our Lord 2025? Question mark.
I think it kind of cost him a knee. If I had to guess, I think it cost him his knee.
I do have one more operating knee than Travis Hunter now, which, granted, I played 0 sides of the ball this year in the National Football League. But I feel like if you're losing 50% of your knees for the 2 sides of the ball that you play on, Addie, could it be advantageous to possibly only play maybe either offense or defense like the rest of the humans?
Yes. And he had 324 offensive snaps and 162 defensive snaps in 7 appearances. 7.
And then why did he not
injured.
have 8 appearances, Addie?
Oh, because he got injured. Oh,
Yeah.
hurt the knee.
Because of the
Ended
knee.
his season.
Look, in college you can do it, and it's brutal. It's not easy in college. You can do it, but like one guy has done it since Desmond Howard and done it with success, and it's this guy. So, he's an Iron Man. He's a superhuman, for sure. But the human body, when a bunch of other humans who are 300 pounds are running at you and trying to destroy you, end your existence, the last thing I want to do is put you in a situation where you can be injured on either side of the ball. And this year, that's the exact situation that happened for Travis Hunter, who ended his season and will not play, or did not play the half of the year, the most important half of the year for the Jags, a team that could have made a postseason run, but was missing their first-round draft pick in Travis Hunter. Bad. Idiot of the day. Addie, I want you to take this one. I want you to lead the conversation here. You threw this into the show today. Idiot of the day, Murray Hill guy. Why is he our idiot of the day?
So this popped up on my Twitter, and he posted this today. He says, never date or marry. And he gives 10 different examples. One of them, nurses.
Okay.
2, single moms.
Wow.
3, teachers.
Oh.
Party girls.
Oh, yeah?
My favorite one here, girls with tattoos.
Never.
That's a good one. Don't do that, guys. Don't do it. And then he goes on for like other political reasons. Horse girls, lawyers. God forbid you may date or marry someone, a lawyer, who's bringing in the dough. God forbid. And they have a tattoo. Out of here. You're done. You're an idiot if you do that, apparently. You're done.
Yep. Idiot of the day. Sure. I'll as a guy of the male variety, I'll help dissect this as the expert. He's referencing females, it seems, because single mothers would imply female. Not that because nurses can be male. Sagan Lewis went to high school with him. He was a nurse. Still is a nurse, I think. Guys can do it too. Murray Hill guy. Never date or marry nurses, single mothers, teachers, party girls, girls with tattoos, liberals, horse girls, lawyers, feminists, girls from Dubai. All right, so just never date anybody. The girls with tattoos one is crazy. Addie, you have like 30 tattoos. So this is going to be a problem for Murray Hill guy, by the way.
Dang it.
It's 30 now, right?
I have 10.
Yep, we are a third of the way there to 30. I have been on dates with most of these, and you're boxed. I don't know. Where do you go from here? Now, this is, look, you're in the car right now. You're 12 years old. You're riding in the car with your dad, listening on AM radio somewhere outside of Milwaukee. I got advice for you, young chap or young gal, man. Do your own thing. Float your own way. I'm not going to Scott Van Pelt this. You hang out. Embrace the love. There will come a time where you go on a date with a nurse, where you go on a date with a teacher, with a horse girl. My current girlfriend, horses. Had a horse when she was growing up. Now what, huh? Yeah, it's going fine. Things are great. Oh, what? You can't date a girl who, wanted to ride a horse? When I was a kid, you know what the coolest thing in the world was? Horses. You'd be like, yeah, man, horses rocked. You could climb up on the horse, and they're like, yeah, top of the world. The cowboys used to do this. Across the Wild West. So you're 12, you're sitting in your car, you're driving to school with your dad in Milwaukee, and you're like, man, I've always thought, when you're 12, right, you start to think about, like, girlfriends, boyfriends. Like, man, my girlfriend the girl I want to date, the girl I have a crush on, number one, I have two things for you to note here, 12-year-old. Number one, she's going to marry someone else one day. You're going to be 24 years old, almost 25 in a couple of days. You're going to look around, open your phone, check Facebook in the morning, she got engaged. That 7th grade girl that you're like, yep, I love her. You don't. She doesn't love you either. She's going to get engaged to someone else, and you're going to realize that. And you know what? You haven't talked to her in years. You haven't had an interaction with her in years. But you know what you're going to think when you're 24, almost 25, you see she got engaged? You're going to think, damn, should have been me. Could have been me. And for like 7 seconds, you'll have a feeling of regret, and you'll move on, and you'll probably never think about it again. But the rest of your life, almost any female that you have a crush on, you will see them get married to someone else and think, damn. That's part of it. It's part of being, except now that when your age doubles and you're 24, that will be a thing that happens. I went to Baylor University, and almost every female that I know that I went to college with is married now. And you're like, okay, not me, not I. That's how it goes in life. Point number 2 that I'm going to give you is that if you have a crush on a girl who rides horses or wants to be a teacher or her dream job is to be a nurse, don't give up. Don't give up. Nurses deserve to get married. Teachers deserve to get married. Single mothers deserve to get married. Party girls, liberals, horse girls, lawyers, feminists, girls from Dubai even deserve to get married. Don't listen to Murray Hill Guy. There are too many people who have bad influences on the young men of the new generation that are boxing them in, holding them down. Maybe, men, it's on us to find that teacher, to find that nurse, and love them well. It's a lesson in life and love. That's what you get on the Drake Toll Show. Our final idiot of the day, Jordan Addison. If I can give you the third piece of advice, 12-year-old, do not. There will come a time in your life. Addie can attest, happened to her. Curtis Poindexter can attest, happened to him. 4 a.m. rolls around, you find yourself still awake. Yeah, whatever. You had a few drinks. I'm not going to berate you for that. Life, well, if you're 12, I might. But the day will come 10 years from now. You've had a couple drinks. It's 4 a.m. You're still awake. Happens to the best of us. And you're going to think, should I break into a casino right now? It'd be really, really fun to break into, allegedly, a casino. And Jordan Addison, allegedly, broke into a casino at 4 a.m. He has a mugshot on the internet. Awesome. My advice to you is don't. You will end up on the Drake Toll Show's Idiot of the Day in a decade. And I'll be sitting here going, man, I told them when they were 12 years old in Milwaukee in their car, do not break into a casino at 4 a.m. Will this be the last chance for Jordan Addison? Will this be the nail in the coffin for his career? Will it be the end-all, be-all? No. What? Drake, why would you ever say that? He broke into a casino. You can't be breaking the law. You can't break the law without consequences. Oh, but you can. And the way to do that is to be a professional athlete. Addie, what usually happens to pro athletes who don't abide by the government?
I'm sure he'll be back next season.
Yep.
No issues. No biggie.
Yep. And what do we do to athletes who, do really heinous bad things?
They'll be back next season. No biggie.
Yep. We'll reprimand in the offseason. We'll handle it internally. Keyword, it will be handled internally. And, Addie, do we expect to see Jordan Addison on the field game 1?
Oh, absolutely. He's starting. Why wouldn't he? What has he done wrong?
If your thought is that, oh, yeah, let me rephrase this, 12-year-old. Let me rephrase it. Only break into a casino at 4 a.m. if you're in the NFL. If you do end up making the NFL, the MLB, the NBA, NHL is a bit of a, that's kind of, you're teetering the line there of what can I get away with? Because they're the big time, the NHL's in the Big Four. But the spotlight, especially this time of year around the NFL, it just exonerates you from most things. You're good. So if you're in the NFL, do whatever you want. Who really cares at the end of the day? But if you're just like me and a normal human being, please don't break into a casino allegedly at 4 a.m, or you will be an idiot of the day. Who is not an idiot of the day? The brand new Hall of Famer, TCU's own. His name is Gary Patterson, and he is on Westwood One Sports app when we come back right here on the Drake Toll Show.
Go on trial just for laughing at the joke, just for saying of the bargain what any sales girl already knows. Most of us old men die at the firing line, just waiting for our number to be called. I guess time just makes fools of us all. Now the king gales his stepsons when he's loaded as a gun. Says a real man is like a country, you need a map to find your one. Now I do you suppose you must approach the throne with its back up against the wall. I guess time just makes fools of us all. Minds of my generation gladly conscripted in the war of defending any Goliath that would deign darken the door. Now with your genius for picking battles, it's no wonder every helmet is too small. I guess time just makes fools of us all. I guess time just makes fools of us all. My drink is watered down. The champ is on his knees. He lost the rematch. He lost the comeback. He lost for charity, but that's the job. It's what gets the asses in the hall. They came for a beating, and he came to brawl. Serve if your client noticed that of all the young gods I have known, yours is easily the least famous to turn down the cover of a Rolling Stone. Lily white faces, so familiar and yet impossible to recall. I guess time just makes fools of us all. After a millennia of good times, God said, hey now, let's have a dream where we raise the stakes a little. Come on, let's make things interesting. Parachute into the Anthropocene, an amnesiac, a himbo Kendall. I guess time does make fools of us all.
Welcome back to the Great Coach Show, Westwood One Sports, the Westwood One Sports app.
Don't you know time
Milwaukee,
just
San
makes
Diego, the amount of massive
of us all.
The amount of people who are in your car right now just dropped the
Headline said it's southbound.
yesterday.
Losers
College
exit.
football hall of fame
That's where you'll
announced
find me
inductees.
in Las Vegas.
And on top of that, you got the national championship.
Doing my
Monday, you got the
greatest hits.
this weekend.
Me
There's
and Dixie.
love about sports right in front of you. And now, joining the Drake Toll Show, the newest college football Hall of Famer of Oregon Lightning Bolts fame. It's Coach Gary Patterson, the TCU legend. Coach, good morning. Thank you for joining the show, and what an honor it is not just to have you, but to know you and know you as a Hall of Famer.
Well, thanks, Drake. It's great to be on. It was exciting. It was great to spend a day, a couple hours with you during that time, getting a chance to celebrate and do our show. So, yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Coach, you talked about it with me yesterday. We had the conversation of how this process went. You know, Bob Stoops holding the secret for 8 months that you were effectively an instant unanimous decision for this honor. But take me through how you found out officially that you would be inducted into the Hall of Fame, and then your immediate reaction.
Well, yeah, they do a great job as a committee of not letting anybody know what's going on. And they called my wife the day before, and she kind of told me that she had a business meeting, wanted me to come down to dinner, and we kind of sat by ourselves, and she gave me the card, and then that stated such, and we had dinner, and so it was really emotional for me. She knew it was going to be that. You know, I basically had stayed out the last 3 seasons because you had to be out 3 seasons to become eligible for the Hall of Fame, which was something that was really a dream of mine that I wanted to be able to give my my parents, something to show that that all of this is all their hard work was worth something. And then the next day you receive a box, that has an invitation to the Hall of Fame and tells you that you are, and then a ball that has your name on it. It was really cool, to know the guys that have gone in and the low percentage of people to get an opportunity to be a part of it. Drake, it's such a journey to be a part of something like this. Anything can go wrong. There's a lot of good coaches out there that haven't got in. And so the journey, along with all the people, if you look at what it took when we started in 1998, when I started here with Dennis Franchione. It's 42 years in college football, but basically 25 at TCU. People say, well, what's 25? I said, I came here at 37, ended at 62. But yeah, and then all the people that were part of the village. I mean, if you look at everybody in Fort Worth that got on board to help, all the frog faithful, TCU itself, the university, and then, everything that goes on to all your coaches and players that have been a part of it. It's at TCU here, we've had over, in my tenure, part of it was over 840 players that were part of this whole thing. So it took everybody, and you got to have a little luck, and you got to kind of roll your sleeves up, because we were kind of vagabonds. We were out in the middle. When we got here, we were in the WAC. They just got kicked out of the old Big 8, Big 12. Then we went from there to the Conference USA. Then we ended up in the WAC, and then we ended up in the Big 12 and kind of the Big East for just a little bit, but never played any ball games in it. So it was an exciting time. There was a lot of hard work, just a lot of great people that were part of it, that did a lot of hard work and gave their lives to be a part of it. I don't think anybody understands how coaches work. Basically we spend more time with the guys on our staff than you do your families in a lot of ways. And so fun times though. It was definitely an emotional last couple of days, and I'm glad I got an opportunity to spend it with you and Jesse and Allie and everybody else that was part of the Amazon Fire college football kickoff moment. So yeah, it was great.
For Kevin, who's just waking up on the West Coast right now in San Diego, what I would love everybody to understand about Coach Patterson is, and he'll tell you this: you get Coach P, who you watch on television, and you get Gary behind the scenes, and one of the nicest, most down-to-earth human beings. You can ask Coach P. You say, Coach, how is your day today? And he'll respond with, I'm thinking about the slot corner versus the RPO. He's just a football guy. It's not a one-liner city with this guy. It is X's and O's with Coach P. And I know a lot of people have watched his career. He mentioned, even yesterday on Amazon Fire TV's college football kickoff that's released today and then on YouTube tomorrow on Locked On Big 12, about how TCU's admissions became so prevalent out in California because of LT, because of the Rose Bowl. This is a guy who is expanding college football in the Metroplex the entire way during his career at TCU, is now a Hall of Famer for it. Again, Coach Gary Patterson on the Drake Toll Show, TCU legend, now Hall of Famer. Coach, I want to take you through the timeline. When you were a junior in high school in a town of a couple hundred people in Kansas, I want you to go back to that Gary Patterson and tell him you're a college football Hall of Famer. What does that mean to that kid and to that kid's family?
Well, yeah, like I was telling you, Drake, I'm probably going to be just the third famous person in the Patterson family that my grandparents had. I had an Uncle Harold that they called in Canada Prince Al. He went to Canada because of the time back in the 50s and 60s. Canada played better. They paid better than what NFL football, or because coming out of KU as a four-sport letterman, which he's in their Hall of Fame. I think the Brooklyn Dodgers drafted him. The Chicago Bears. You go down the list of people, and the ones that ended up winning. He ended up playing at Montreal and Hamilton. Was the youngest player in the Hall of Fame. He was a guy that played, I think, 17 years. I think he played 13 both ways.
Wow. Still
holds, I think, records in Canada. Came in second to Athlete of the Decade. And then I had an Uncle Ray Patterson that was played with Bill Parcells at Wichita State. In fact, when Bill was coaching with the Cowboys, we went over, and I didn't know they called him Crazy Legs because they said he was so fast. And so. Yeah, it's for me, 125 people, you don't really understand how much when we talked about village, what it took kind of village and journey it was for TCU to get where they are. It's the same thing. I think everybody talks about small towns, about everybody in the town is part of your growing up process. They don't wait for your parents to if you're screwing up, they're going to tell you when they see you. And, you know, it's an experience that many people experience when they grow up in that kind of town because of the kind of people, and they teach you how you're supposed to act and how hard you work and all the things you learn that someday, you know, end up paying benefits down the road. You know, it's really interesting coming from the Midwest of how many people that you end up have the same story just because they outlasted coming from that little town that taught you how to work, taught you how to treat people, taught you how to do things. And so, yeah, it's you would probably tell that guy, you know, and he'd probably look at you surprised going, no, there's no way that's going to happen. You know, it's because, you know, as I tell people, greatness happens in a period of time where dreams and hard work meet. And, you know, a lot of times coming out of that small little town, you know how to work, but you don't know how to dream. And so that was one of the things that I had to learn how to do. And so there's a lot of people that dream but don't know how to work hard to go find it. And so it's definitely, it took a lot of people to shape this. And, you know, 4 athletic directors, 3 chancellors, you know, 4 or 5 mayors in Fort Worth. And why I say mayors, because it took TCU, it took the city of Fort Worth and surrounding areas, and to make it all happen. You know, you had to have a bunch of people that wanted vision that ended up and there was a lot of people that just, you know, were, you know, I'm glad you have this energy and this, you know, we really don't think this will happen because it's never happened in Fort Worth. It's never happened at TCU. But there's a lot of leaders, big families in the city that had vision to go ahead and help. And that's why Fort Worth's grown into the town it is, and why so many people are coming here, just like the state of Texas. They're moving in because of things that happen. You know, application-wise, it went from 4,000 applications in 1998 to around, after the Rose Bowl, around 24,000 applications. And then once TCU went to the college football championship, went to around a little over 40,000 applications for a school that only takes, you know, a couple thousand students a year. So yeah, it's I think it's a great dream and a great journey that everybody should look at the story and say, you know, you want something to happen, you get enough people that think the same way you do, that it can happen. And so all the way to where it's, you know, it's to know in the new, since I think 1980, only 2 TCU people have gone into, athletes or coaches gone in. LaDainian Tomlinson, that played with the Chargers, great player, Hall of Famer, NFL Hall of Famer, and Gary Patterson. So, yeah, it's something that I'll be proud of, and I'm hoping my family's really proud of everything that happened. So.
Well, Coach, I could ask you obviously a million questions here about your induction to the Hall of Fame, and you've touched on so many things already that I wanted to ask about your upbringing and now this honor as you know, Gary Patterson, the TCU legend, started out in small town Kansas and had to work up to this opportunity and where you are now. I'll leave you with this though. I asked you, you know, to go back to your junior year of high school and tell yourself you're a Hall of Famer. That's unbelievable. What I want to know. I mean, you were Tennessee Tech, UC Davis. You've talked about your time at UC Davis or Cal Lutheran, but I want to go to Sonoma State. So you've already had a career in college football as a coach, and now you've landed at Sonoma State. I'll take you back. It's 5:30 in the morning, we'll say, and you're waking up to go do your job. I mean, was there ever a time, because you just mentioned how greatness, that there's not enough people who have the grit to get to greatness. Was there ever a time you're at Sonoma State or one of these stops you thought, is it worth it? Is it worth it? What am I doing? Did you ever question the journey when you're in the middle of this before you got to the end result of Hall of Famer Gary Patterson?
Well, yeah, Drake. At Sonoma State, they didn't have a press box.
Wow.
You know, as a staff, we're the one, people gave us materials. We built, you know, I was at Utah State, was a place that we had to build the players' locker room, the coaches' locker room. You know, you went to places that you had to roll your sleeves up. But at the time, it was about, for me, it was, you know, all of us, it was about, you go pay your bills. You know, this is the next stop of how you get there. Hopefully you can make it better now. Somebody notices. You know, very few people probably remember that Larry Allen, the Hall of Famer from the Dallas Cowboys, the big offensive, he you know, we recruited him to Sonoma State. You know, he was, I think, going to Clemson out of high school. It didn't work. He went back to Santa Rosa Junior College, and then he ends up there. No, I don't think, it's hard to envision that. But if you look at the stories like Dan Lanning from Oregon, he met his wife in working in a steak place in Kansas City, Missouri. If you look at some of these stories of people, Lincoln Riley from Muleshoe, Texas, a small town in West Texas, there's plenty that come from other places, but they come with some vision and stuff that come out. Bob Stoops comes from up in Ohio. I mean, it's the Stoops family. I mean, all these friends that through the years that you coached against, Mac Brown, Cookeville, Texas.
Yeah.
I mean, they all come from somewhere where that people gave them the ingenuity to be a part of it. And like everybody, there's a lot of good coaches, Drake. It takes a little luck. I mean, this little small town that you came from in Arkansas, you have to be, and you got to want to get out. I had plenty of great people that I graduated with in my class. How about 28 in my graduating class, Greg? We had 100 people, 100 kids in our high school. So, all you knew how to do was work, like I said, and you didn't know how to dream. And, out of those 27, about 23, there was only about 3 or 4 of us that left.
Wow.
From my class that went out somewhere. Everybody stayed in farm, ranch, got married, had kids. And you know what? They lived great lives.
Yeah.
I still talk to them. And that was one of the cool things after I took over as a head coach when I was just 40 years old, is I went back and put down the names of people in my life that had made a difference. It was about 150. And that spring when we weren't doing something, I tried to reach out for them and find them and see what was going on. Cause you ran so fast between 20 and 40 when you left that little small town.
Wow.
You ran so fast to get where you're going to. So, you ended up, here you were a head coach. And so, you wanted people to be part of that vision, that so they could enjoy your part of the journey. And I think that's, what is it? If you walk, you're not a leader if you walk by yourself and nobody's following and you don't include anybody. And so I wanted to include, and really it was one of the best things I ever did, was go back and include all my friends and coaches or whoever because coming from a Sonoma State, somebody's got to pick you up. And actually there was a guy by the name of Dick Bumpus and Charlie Weatherby that went to Utah State that Coach Bumpus had coached me at Kansas State, and they hired me as the DB coach at Utah State. And, without that opportunity, you don't get that chance to do it because I didn't know any better.
Yeah.
So you had to get somebody in. Then we ended up going from there to the Naval Academy. And from the Naval Academy, you end up going to, I ended up in New Mexico, and then we ended up here at TCU. But yeah, I went through a lot of stops in the way, to Pittsburgh State and Pittsburgh, Kansas, with Dennis Franchione, all the wins they did there. And it's a great town. Football is really the town and of the state. But yeah, I was proud of them. I grew up in Kansas, and the people that I know, and all the people that helped me in my journey. And I share the Hall of Fame thing with all of them because they all had a part. The lady that saw me screwing up 3 blocks away from home and called my mom and said, "Hey, look, this is what Gary was doing." So probably the same things you were doing, Drake.
Yeah, no doubt. Somewhere in small town Arkansas. Coach, I think people, I asked 10 minutes of your time. You've given us 20. It's incredible. And people are getting the live reaction of someone who's processing entering the College Football Hall of Fame, which is just so cool to me. Coach, thank you for your time and joining the show today. And I know you have learned. You told me how to make things super short and talk really quickly. And today we gave you an opportunity to wax poetic. But you got 20 seconds to shout out Kelsey, your wife. If I don't ask that, I know she'd hurt me.
Well, yeah. I mean, as you know, we're all great because of the people that stand behind us. And really, I became a lot better football coach when Kelsey Hayes at the time, now Kelsey Patterson, decided that she wanted to be part of this journey. So she'll appreciate that you that mentioned her, and and she's still part of this journey, and could not have done it without her. She's the one that surprised me. That's why they let her be the one that told me. So
wow, she's great. Coach, thanks so much for the opportunity to get to have you on the show today. It's a pleasure to know you. It's an honor to know you.
Well, the same with you, Drake. And I got a feeling that somewhere I'm going to be watching Drake Toll is going to surpass being in the Hall of Fame, because you're doing great things. So keep it up.
Coach, a pleasure. There he goes. Gary Patterson, the Hall of Famer, TCU legend, and a guy who I've had the pleasure of working with for the last few months, salt of the earth, and now a Hall of Famer. Look, we're breaking the rules of radio here, right? You're supposed to. Look, I don't care. I'm going to be as open with you as you want me to be. Supposed to go to break a couple minutes ago. You're listening in real time to someone who just learned that they got into the Hall of Fame, and you get to hear them process that. Like, how, for free, man, how blessed are we to hear from a guy like that? That's so cool. Coming up, coaching news, right? From Coach Gary Patterson to Coach John Harbaugh, who Coach Gary Patterson knows. Yeah, he's the new head coach. At least they're working that way toward him being the new head coach of the New York Football Giants. Is that a good thing? This, I'll answer that, is the Drake Toll Show.
Bomba-dee-da, 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 until we meet again. Happy trails to you. Keep smiling on till then. Who cares about the clouds when we're together? Just sing a song and think about sunny weather. Happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you. Keep smiling on till then. Some trails are happy ones, other trails are blue. It's the way you ride that counts. Here's a happy one for you. Happy trails to you till we meet
I got a sweet little baddie and she's rolling in the caddy with me.
Yeah. Yeah, you do.
I got a sweet
Drake Toll with you, the Drake Toll Show, Westwood One Sports, the Westwood One Sports app. That was cool. Like, can we take a moment? That was a guy who has coached, he had like 13 stops in 15 years, became the head coach at TCU, had a million opportunities to leave. I remember all the rumors, like Gary Patterson to Notre Dame, to Arkansas, to Texas A&M. He's like, no, I'm going to stay at TCU. Now he's a Hall of Famer, won the Rose Bowl against Wisconsin. And it was awesome last night to get to go to dinner with him, his wife Kelsey, who's spectacular, their friends, a lot of former TCU players who are just so incredible, that built him up into what he is. And what he is a Hall of Famer. Gary Patterson, the TCU legend. I had probably too many Miller Lights last night in the wake of the and Cabernets, in the wake of such a stoic man. And then woke up today at whatever it was, 3:45 Central Time. Hooray. Sleep when you're dead, right? Just cool. Cool to have him on the show. I said this off the air. Again, this show is predicated on transparency. I want to be honest with you. When I mess up, I want to be honest with you. When you mess up, be honest with me. Let's have this open conversation together. And that's one of those interviews where if you're really listening to what he said, you can listen back on the Drake Toll Show, wherever you find your podcasts, as well as on YouTube. When you really listen to what he had to say, chills, man. That's chill. That's how you, if you want a map to life, a guide to life, a guide to success, that is the guy who will get you there. Awesome from Coach Patterson. John Harbaugh, head coach of the New York Giants, working toward it. Todd Monken is going to join him as his offensive coordinator. That is, I think CBS was the first one. That may have been ESPN. Credit all of them. Why not? Good for the Giants. John Harbaugh, what are you doing? Oh, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? Can you win right away there? I don't think so. But good luck. The world's rooting for you. Congratulations on your new job. Spectacular. Addie Bates produces the Drake Toll Show from Washington, D.C. Curtis Poindexter runs the board from Culver City, California. Addie, it's time for Are You Smarter Than Drake Toll?
Curtis, are you ready to play Are You Smarter Than Drake Toll?
No.
Okay, Curtis. Drake, are you ready?
Yes.
All right. Curtis, what's our first category?
Movies.
Movie.
Ooh. You ready?
Yep.
In Star Wars, who built C-3PO? Yeah, you always go first.
Anakin Skywalker.
Curtis?
You say Anakin Skywalker?
Drake?
Yes, sir.
Who built Obi-Wan Kenobi? Built him.
Wow. Point Curtis. Curtis, good job, little buddy.
That's the only one.
Oh, sorry, I'm not a nerd. Next question.
Curtis?
Can I talk about history some more?
Curtis?
Movie. History.
History!
The Treaty of Paris ended which war?
Fight Club.
Versailles was, oh no. Treaty of Versailles was World War I, which was in Paris. World War I.
No, the Revolutionary War.
This is not good. It's not good.
Science.
Science!
Ooh, this one, usually you're equally as bad at this round. Okay, here we go. What is the splitting of atomic nuclei called?
I don't know the term for it. To make the atomic bomb. Splitting hydrogen, right?
Remember, together it's fusion. Splitting is
Fission.
Fight Club.
Drake!
Yeah!
Point Drake!
I love that Curtis is
Wow.
like, don't know the name, but big boom. All right, great.
Big boom.
Big boom.
He goes Oppenheimer.
Yep.
All right, what's it?
Music.
Ooh, I love this one. What band was known as the Fab Five in the 1980s?
Rat Pack.
The what?
Rat Pack.
The Rat Pack of the 1980s, yes.
Is
We're
it?
dead.
This is recency bias. The Grateful Dead.
The 80s?
70s. You can call them. They existed in the 80s, yes.
They started in the 60s, yes. But when you think of like the 80s, I think of John Taylor, Roger Taylor, Andy Taylor, Simon Le Bon.
Of course.
Nick Rhodes, Duran Duran.
The Taylor Band. We have time for one more.
Random.
Random.
All right, weighing up to 2,000 pounds. This is the largest mammal in North.
Largest mammal in North America?
One of the
Yes.
whales.
All right, Curtis, what do you got? I know it.
Is that one of the whales or something?
Is it one of the whales?
A North American whale.
Oh yeah.
This guy just asked me to one of the whales. Did he really just say that?
One of them whales.
Yeah, that's Curtis's answer. Is one of the whales. My answer is the moose.
It's a bison.
Oh, stop it! Mooses are so bigger. Meese are so bigger than bison.
Mooses?
Hurry, Curtis! Tiebreaker question. Hurry! Hit the buzzer. Hurry!
There's no other ones. We did all five.
All right, science.
Science. Last question. Fast, fast.
What is it called when a solid changes directly into a gas?
Curtis.
Evaporation.
I don't even know. We're gonna have to end in a tie. What is it? Fight Club.
Sublimation.
Of course, it's sublimation.
One of the whales.
the great North American whale. That's Curtis Poindexter, who is not smarter than Drake Toll, but he's equally as dumb, I think, today. We're both the idiot of the day for what just happened.
Today?
Yes. Here goes Curtis, Addie Bates, producer of the Drake Toll Show. Shout out to Armin Williams, who hired me. Great call, Armin. Very good call. This has been and always will be. Thanks for following us. 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. Eastern Time. See you tomorrow. Love you. Mwah! This has been the Drake Toll Show.
This is Westwood One's